Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about my Tumbler business and dive into how I got started with that, the process of the beginning to where I am now, and just kind of giving some more details about it. So let's roll right in. So once I got a Cricut machine, which I love, like I think everyone should have a Cricut machine or at least know someone that has a Cricut machine because they are amazing. Anyways, I watched people do tutorials like on one specific tumbler. They would show like what they did and how they did it, the process, the materials, the time it took, everything like that. And I did that for 4 months because I really wanted to get some good ideas and some designs, and I wanted to know how to do this, and I wanted to make sure I did it correctly. And I was just starting at the bottom. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I need to learn. So that's what initiated my 4-month-long research, mostly on YouTube, a lot on Pinterest as well. I would just get ideas and brainstorm designs and kind of figure out, okay, I can do this. So after my 4 months of research, I started to slowly acquire all of the materials that I would need. And that consisted of epoxy, tumblers themselves, glitter for the tumblers, and then I also wanted to do shirts, so I needed to get iron-on vinyl and some sort of like heat press or something of that nature. So I started there, and I'm pretty sure I went to Amazon and Walmart mostly. So I started with those, and I got my tumblers from Walmart, like the Ozark Trail brand. I started with those, and I just got epoxy and glitter from Michael's or Hobby Lobby, any kind of craft store. I went to Amazon for stuff like the iron-on vinyl. I found that I could get more vinyl for a better cost. It was a little more expensive up front, but that's because I would get a lot of vinyl in one roll compared to like getting the Cricut brand. It's like 2 feet of vinyl for maybe like $14 per roll, and on Amazon I could find maybe like 12 feet of vinyl in one roll for like $20, something around there. So I was okay with spending a little bit more up front so that I could get more for my money. For Christmas in 2018, my family got a lot of homemade gifts, and that's just because I was so excited to test out my Cricut and try out new designs, and I was just so excited. So I wanted to do a lot of like homemade gifts that year. And looking back now, I thought to myself, what was I thinking? Like, I know I could have done better. Like, I don't even like those designs that I created first. And then I realized I was just starting out and I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have 2 years of experience like I do now. So I had to cut myself some slack and realize that that just shows how much improvement you can make and how much experience you can learn in just a little short amount of time. So then in January of 2019, I officially started my Etsy business. I created an Etsy profile and entered in all of my listings. And once I did that, I realized I'm not prepared yet. So I had to go back and do a lot of product photos and get like package weight amount and package dimensions and stuff like that, because Etsy does require you to enter those for each item. So I realized that I need to take pictures of each listing that I want to add, and then I need to figure out how much it's going to weigh when it's in my package, what the package dimensions are, so that they know what size the box is that I'm going to be sending it in. And Etsy had to know all of that. So I took another a few days to do that. And once I finished all of the details regarding that, I was able to post several listings to my Etsy site, and that made my profile or my shop go public, I guess. So it's kind of like you're under construction with your site once you start it, and then after you get all of your like profile picture, your listings, all of that kind of stuff set up, then you make your Etsy site public for everyone to see. And I think I'm gonna do another video on just focusing on how to start an Etsy business, even if it's not gonna be specifically a Tumbler business like mine. I can dive into like how I set it up and what kind of specific things you need before that. And I could even give some tips and tricks on how to increase traffic to your site, help you get more exposure to Etsy users and Etsy shoppers. So I think that'll be a separate video though. Getting back on track. So after my Etsy was set up, I went and made a Facebook first. I started with just one social media platform, and I wanted to see if that would do well, and if it did, then I would branch out to Instagram. So I started with Facebook. I made a business Facebook profile, and I was able to like set up my about me and about the company, and I was able to put my logo as the profile, and then that enabled me to start posting on social media, and that really helped get my name out there and my business name. A lot of my family members and friends, whenever I would post something about a product, like a new one that I had just finished, they would share it. They're so sweet. They would share it and say, oh, go check her out if you need anything. She does custom orders, all that sweet stuff. So I was really grateful to them. And so that helped get my name out there. I had gained a few hundred followers within the first year or so, year and a half, which I was really excited about. And then I forget when it was exactly when I started my Instagram, but I know it was a few months after I had started my Facebook page. So I just wanted to start with one platform, focus on that, build that up, and then branch out. And now I just post to Instagram, and then it automatically connects and posts to my Facebook. So it's just really easy. Another thing that I did in the beginning, in order to help like my name get out there and kind of get a good client base or customer base, I would ask friends and family that were already ordering something. I would ask them if they were interested in writing me a review or recommending me on Facebook in exchange for a discounted rate for their order. So for instance, one of my friends ordered a tumbler, and I asked her if she would write a review for me. I would take off $5 or $10 or however much you feel comfortable doing. Heck, you might even say you want to give someone a free tumbler in exchange for a review. It's totally up to you and what you can afford and what you want to do. But I did a discounted rate, and that really helped people who were new to my Facebook page. They could see all of the reviews and say, oh, this must be like really great. She seems super trustworthy, which I am. But I wanted people that didn't know me to get to know me better. And I felt like if they knew me and the person making their order and making their product, the person behind the scenes, I wanted them to know me so that they could trust me and support my business. Then after that, I started with my craft room. I needed a space, and I will try to link, maybe not link, but I'll insert a picture of what my craft rooms started out as, and then at the end of this video I might do like a tour of my craft room currently. But anyways, the biggest thing that I needed was a cup-tisserie machine for my tumblers, because the epoxy has to constantly turn or else it will lump up, I guess. If your tumbler is sitting like this, I wish I had a tumbler to show you, but if it's sitting like the opening is over here and the bottom is right here, the epoxy will clump up at the bottom down here unless it is turning, if that makes sense. So I did not want that happening. So my dad, being a very handy man, I asked him to help me create a cup-tisserie machine, because it was a lot less expensive than buying one that I saw online where it was pre-made. And those look really great. I'm sure they work super well. And if you're able to afford that right up front, then I would highly recommend just doing that, because it seems easiest. But my dad is very handy, and I was able to make my own cup-tisserie machine at a much lower cost. Another thing that I did was, it was around Christmas, or a little after Christmas when I officially started, but on my Christmas list, I actually put one of the Cricut Easy Presses, so I didn't have to necessarily buy one of those. It was a gift for Christmas, which I really love, still use it today, but that was another less expensive way to go. Instead of buying one of those bigger heat presses, you could just do the Cricut Easy Press. I think they're like $100 or $200. Maybe you could get some coupons. And so I added that to my Christmas list, and I was very grateful to get that. And there are just a few like little things you could do to either lower the startup costs, or, you know, if you have a certain amount that you're able to start with, just start small. And then over time, as you acquire more revenue and more income, then you can add on more equipment, and more items. So like I started out with just 4 cup-tisserie motors, and now I have 8. So just over time, as you make more money and save up more money, then you can add on, so that you're not either in debt, or you can just start out with a little bit of money invested, and heaven forbid if it goes not well, then you haven't lost a lot of money and you're not out hundreds of dollars. And then after I was pretty secure in my social media presence and my Etsy was slowly picking up sales each week, then I ventured out and signed up for my first vendor event. And it was a 3-day long event at a fairground. And I didn't know what to expect, because it was my first one. I did that in June, I believe. I had started my Etsy in January, so then 6 months later I did my first vendor event, and I didn't know what to expect. For the 3 days, I think it was $150, and it was not well attended. And I thought that that was normal to only have a few people each day, but my next door vendors that were next to me, obviously we got to know each other a little bit because there wasn't a lot of customers, and they told me that this is not normal. Usually vendor events are not more than $50 a day, which that was $50 a day, and it was just becoming clear that maybe I shouldn't have done this, but if I hadn't done it, then I wouldn't have known all those things. And I got to know some of the other people, and it was just really insightful, and I was able to make a few sales. I was able to pass out a lot of business cards. So I think that event was okay. It was fine, and I got to know some people from there. Another thing that I did at that first event was I made up little half-sheet flyers, and it was just introducing my business and what I do and what I specialize in. and I set it out for other business owners, other vendors around me, if they wanted to buy shirts with their company logo or tumblers with their company logo. I was able to do that, and because they are fellow vendors, I was willing to give them a discount. So that's a little trick that some people do, some people don't do it, but I love to give a little discount to other vendors that are around me if they are interested in purchasing any of my items. But that's just another way to get your name out there, create more business for you, and if their friends are like, oh, that's a really great tumbler, where'd you get it? They're able to pass my name along, pass my business name along. So I highly recommend doing vendor events. I love those. You can get really creative with how you set up your booth, and it's just a really great time to enjoy, meet other small business owners. And most of the time, these vendor events are very profitable for me, at least. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just letting you know that once you put in the effort and put in the registration fee and really plan out your designs for that specific event, if you do all that ahead of time and you're prepared, then you're going to make your registration money back plus profit, and it is just very worth it to me, at least. I would also recommend starting locally, so doing vendor events around your city or your county, maybe not anywhere far away, at least not to start out with, just to get used to the whole experience and figure out how you want your booth to be set up, and figure out how long it usually takes you to set it up, how long it takes you to tear everything down, how profitable most vendor events are for your business. So I recommend starting locally, and then if you feel called to do so, branch out to other states, other cities, other counties, whatever you want. And I also learned that if you specifically have items that you think would really sell well at each vendor event, that is a great option for you. So let me give you an example. I did a vendor event at a school near me, and I wanted to put their logo on some tumblers to try to be like school spirit, you know, and I thought that went really well. Like if you do kind of specific designs for each vendor event, I feel like that's gonna really stand out to people, and you know, their friends at like soccer games or softball games or dance rehearsal, they're gonna say, oh, that is such a cute cup, where did you get it? And then that opens the door for word of mouth recommendations. Now, over time, I have learned a lot of things, and you're gonna learn these as you start out too. I didn't just start my business and it was like super profitable, super great, all happy, all that kind of stuff. No, like I went through some rough patches. I went through a few months of getting 1 to 2 orders, and you just learn along the way. You pick up some tricks and tips, and that's what I'm trying to do here for you. And you just learn along the way, and that is what makes your business unique to you. And that is super important to remember, to not get discouraged and just keep going. That's what's gonna count in the end. I realized the other day that I never pictured myself here with this Tumbler business when I was first starting out 2 years ago. So you just have to keep going, keep putting in the effort and the time to your business, and it's gonna pay off. It's gonna be perfect and just the way you want it to be if you just keep being determined and putting in the work. And even 2 years in, I'm still putting in work to expand my business. What can I do better? What didn't work last year around this time? What did work last year around this time? What can I focus on now? What should I not do again? What have I learned from this situation? All those kinds of questions that I'm constantly asking myself. And that's what I'm here trying to explain to you. Like, it's okay if you mess up, it's okay if something goes wrong, because you're gonna have time to fix it and you're gonna learn from it. And next year you're gonna know, I need to put out my Christmas items in November, because in December last year I was just too busy and I didn't even get to enjoy the holidays because I was working on orders. So it's just those kinds of things that you're gonna learn over time, and that's okay. And so I just want to finish this video. I'm gonna insert a picture or video of my current craft room, and then also what it used to be when I started out, so you know where I started, where I am today, and maybe even in a year I'll have an updated video with where I am then. So I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and it's just an experience over time. So this is my first workspace. As you can see, it's very simple and minimal. All I had was a desk, 2 small sets of drawers, and my Cricut machine. So now I'll show you my current workspace. Okay, I'll start with this. This is where I kind of keep a lot of my shipping items and other miscellaneous items. This big printer is my sublimation printer. Also, I have all of my iron-on, so my scraps are at the top, and then I have 2 drawers of iron-on vinyl. I keep my transfer tape near me and handy, cardstock, and all of my business cards. Then I love this. I found this at Hobby Lobby, I believe. It's a to-do list for each day, and I have my calendar, cute little things, my Cricut, of course, that's the most important thing. I keep my computer right by it. Up here I have my Cricut pens up here. I also have my Cricut tools, and then miscellaneous things, and then I keep all of my receipts. So once I get back from like the craft store or wherever I'm going, I just pop the receipt right in there, and then at the end of every week I go through and input it into my computer. Down here I have all of my vinyl. So the first drawer is sticker paper and water slide paper. And then similar to the iron-on, we have vinyl scraps, and then 2 drawers of regular vinyl. Now this is my heat press. I did not get this right away. I actually bought it in a pack with my sublimation printer. It came with the heat press, the printer, the paper, and the ink. So this is my cuptisserie machine, and my dad and I built this together, and back there these little things are actually rotisserie motors that we purchased from Lowe's, and each one is about $35–40 maybe, and he was able to construct the holders here, and I just use footballs from the dollar store and electrical tape to hold those on there, and those keep it super sturdy. They can turn. Once I click this, then they start turning, and that way the epoxy doesn't sit in one place. So it wasn't until this year that I was able to afford and put together my second rotisserie station, or my second cuptisserie station. At first I just had this one. This was my first one, and I believe I even only had 3 when I first started, maybe even 2, I don't remember. But I know I didn't have all 4 motors, because if they're $40 each, that was a little expensive for me. And then right above my cuptisserie machine, I have all of my glitter. It's quite a lot, but I love it. And then I have my, over here I have my mica powders and my alcohol inks, stuff like that. And then I have 2 folding tables for like a work island, because I don't have a lot of space over there, a lot of room to work with. I love having these tables to do extra work, do large orders on, and then I keep my inventory that is complete in these totes, so that when I have an event, I have stock on hand. And then This is where I keep all of my blank inventory. It overflowed into my, what I call a babe cave. So it's not exactly in my work area. I didn't have enough room in there, so it overflowed into here. I have tote bags, cutting boards, aprons, pillowcases, bags, tea towels, blankets, all of my shirts, even kids sizes, small through 3X. And then over here is where I'm kind of running out of inventory. I just placed an order yesterday, but I keep my 20-ounce tumblers, 30-ounce tumblers, wine chillers, can coolers, champagne glasses, kids tumblers, wine tumblers, Starbucks tumblers, mugs, and wine glasses. So you can see that my craft room was just one desk, 2 little drawers, and now it's kind of a mess, but that's okay because it works for me. It is so great. I couldn't have asked for anything better, and that took 2 years to make. And I would just buy this here and there over time to keep adding and create storage, create space, create systems. So it's okay. It's gonna take time, and that's perfectly okay. So thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for listening to me ramble about a few things and take a few bunny trails. That's what happens here. And I hope you learned something from this video because that's the purpose of this. And stay tuned for more videos like this. And thank you so much for watching.